Welcome to Underrated Underthinkers. I'm your host, Joe.
And I'm the best host, Matt.
Today I have a topic, which is more than usual. But
Whoa.
is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into it?
You can
Heat,
talk about your
weather?
movie. The heat
You done it?
sucks. Work was 1:15 at the end of the day. I'm ready to die.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I walked outside for like a minute to grab my package and was like, "Fuck, I'm dying."
Why
I
didn't
don't
you
do
just do
well
that
in
in
the
your
heat
house?
normally, but what?
Grab your
Oh,
package.
been there, done that. Anyhow, I guess the main topic today is the 28 Years Later film. It came out on Friday. Um, and for those who don't know, it's a continuation of a series. They did 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. In my opinion, the first two, especially the first one, 28 Days Later, is probably one of the best zombie movies I've seen. We've talked about it before, but it's like, in my opinion, like more realistic. You know, zombies can starve and they die. They're just not like The Walking Dead, where they're just somehow still going.
Mhm.
But yeah, the first one was really. I thought the first one was good. Good cinematography, good story, good atmosphere and stuff, and the zombies just made sense. 28 Weeks Later was I would say it was still pretty good. It brought in a concept that they might be able to mutate in a way,
Hmm.
because there was a kid, or
Spoiler
I
alert.
spoiler alert for all of this, but so I guess going back to the first one, it's called the rage virus or whatever, you know, normal zombie shit, they attack each other, yada yada. But that was in the first 28 days. 28 weeks later, this was all happening in Britain, and they quarantined it, they killed all the zombies, whatever, and people were moving back in 28 weeks later. You know, of course, there was like one zombie still left that they brought into the containment zone because they didn't think she was a zombie. She had a mutation, because like part of her mutation was what is it called when you have two different colored eyes?
Hemid something.
Yeah, something like that. I think she had that, but she lived the whole like 28 weeks in their house, and this family that was moving back in wanted to go back to their house. The kids like snuck out of the quarantines, or like the safe zone, and they
Heterochromia.
yep.
Heter,
I'm not gonna
heterochromia.
something like that. I'm not gonna even attempt it. Anyhow, they found their mom in there. They bring her back. She ends up biting their dad, and he becomes kind of a smartish zombie in a way. Not like smart, but like he has a clear goal. He's going after the kids for some reason. But so that caused like a little bit of mutation, I think. And then we get to 28 weeks later, or 28 years later. So at the end of the 28 weeks, containment spread past the main Great Britain. I'm pretty sure it got into like Europe, but they eventually pushed it back. I think they said at the beginning. And let me look up where exactly 28 years later takes place.
I thought it was an island.
It is an island, but I don't know what the mainland is. Takes place on Lidsfarn, something known as the Holy Island, small island off the coast of Northumberland, England. So it is still England. I think they eventually pushed the virus back to where it is just on the mainland Britain again. But this time they're not dying off. They're feeding on like animals and stuff. But the whole thing kind of takes place on this island, or not the whole thing, but it starts off on this island. It's during the day, there's a land bridge, and when the tide comes up, you can't cross it. And the reason zombies can't come across at night is because there's a current going across the land bridge, so it'd push them off. So it's like a legit like fortress,
Tides.
basically. Yeah, it's like a nice.
All about the tides.
It's all about the tides. But anyhow, these people for like past 28 years have been foraging and yada yada. And I guess I could talk about the main starting scene. It starts off with like the virus making it to the mainland. There's this like little blonde-haired kid watching Teletubbies with a bunch of other kids. Uh, he makes it out of the house when the zombies are attacking. He goes into the church, and his dad's like the priest or whatever, and hands him a cross, and he hides. And the dad, thinks it's God causing all this, so he just lets it happen. But the kid escapes, and then it cuts to present day, where there's this dad taking his son, who's like 12 years old, out on his first adventure to the mainland. And during this, you find out the mom's like sick or something's wrong with her. She's like a little delusional and stuff. She thinks she's going to school or whatever, and they just have to play along with it because she would get pissed. But the dad, they're using like bow and arrows and shit. So they go out to the mainland because the whole goal, the dad wants the kid to get his first kill. So they get to the mainland. There's a fat zombie. There's a bunch of fat zombies that are on the ground crawling around. They eat like worms and shit. But the kid gets a kill off of one of those, and then they go exploring some more. They find like a house, and in one of the houses they find a zombie hanging up, probably was a person hanging upside down with a bag over their head that got turned into a zombie. It was probably like they thought it was probably a form of punishment of some kind. But the dad makes the kid kill him, but it had like markings on his back. And then you get to where they're getting ready to head home, and they come across some fast zombies. But with the fast zombies, there's a alpha. So they introduce like alphas, which in my head's like kind of the mutation aspect, whereas now like the rage virus kind of worked as a steroid for some people. So it's like and of course you mentioned this earlier, which I didn't realize how many naked zombies there were, which once again makes sense. But Jesus Christ, this alpha zombie was like probably 7 foot tall or something, and his dick was easily a foot long, like easily. Like it was like the size of my fucking forearm, like hanging from this guy's crotch, like. And I don't know why they kept doing zoom ups into it. I was like, dude, chill. I get it. He has a big dick. Stop rubbing it in. But anyhow, they have to run from him because you can't engage with a alpha because they're like really strong. Obviously, they're giants. But they hide in this old house during the night. But during the night, a pack of deer, or I say a pack, it's like a horde. It's like thousands of deer because, there's no one to control population. They go running by the house and it causes a big vibration and it falls apart. So they have to get out of the house, and then they're stuck running through the woods. And they make it to the land bridge, and they're like starting to cross. The tide's not quite gone yet, but it's gone enough to where they can make their way over. And they make it in, and the alpha was chasing him, but they killed him while they were crossing. The people from the island did. They had like a big crossbow what are those called? I mean, it's a mounted crossbow. I thought there was a name for those. Turret, I guess.
They are not called turrets.
What are they called?
I can't remember. In Clash of Clans, it's called the Expo.
Ballista.
Ballista, yeah. Depending how big it is, it's a ballista.
Yeah. I think so. Okay, so they basically had one of those, and they shot the big guy because the big guy took a couple arrows. And I forgot, this isn't the one with the big dick. I think I'm assuming he had a big dick, but there's another alpha later on in the story. This one died quick, but this next one, so while they were at the mainland, when they were sleeping at night, the kid saw a fire, and the dad said there's some travelers or like roamers who just still live in the mainland, but they keep on moving. And he said it was one of them, but he said, we're not going towards it. It's nothing, yada, yada. Anyhow, he gets back home. The kid's throwing a big party because, it was his first time going out. And he finds his dad cheating with another younger girl. So he goes back and hangs out with his mom. And of course, someone was watching his mom, and the old guy that was watching his mom told him about what the fire was. Apparently, there's a doctor on the mainland that lives there, and then he eventually confronted his dad about it. The dad's like, yeah, so it is a doctor, but you know, they never interacted with him because he had thousands of bodies laid out, and he was just burning them nonstop. So the fire is just him burning bodies.
Hmm.
So they thought he was crazy, and they never got near him. But the thing is that the kid was wondering about, because there's no doctor on the island, and his mom's sick, so he wants the doctor. So that's kind of the beginning of this little story, or not really beginning, but it's the adventure is trying to get the mom to the doctor. So he eventually sneaks out of the village with the mom, and during that whole thing, they introduce there's patrol ships patrolling around, because the island's quarantined. And apparently there was a team that their boat got washed up and they got stuck on the island. And that's where they introduced a giant fucking alpha with a big dick. And the dude's strong enough. He was grabbing people by the head and ripping their head off with their spine. That was his whole thing. So the dude's fucking jacked and ungodly strong with a big cock. I can't preface how big the cock was. Anyhow, you also see a pregnant zombie or whatever, and the team that got killed by the big alpha, one of them survived, helped the mom and the kid for a minute. Eventually they find a train and they hear yelling. The mom goes in, helps deliver the zombie baby, and then the zombie tries to attack her after the baby's delivered, and the guy that got washed ashore, the military dude, shot the mother and was freaking out, or the zombie. And then he was gonna shoot the baby too. That's when the alpha showed up and ripped his head off. And they were about to get killed by the alpha, and then the doctor shows up and shoots the alpha, but he shoots him with a sedative, just to calm him down. Apparently he had the alpha named or whatever. I forget what they named them. But he took the mom, the kid, and the head and spine of the guy that just died back to his place. And it's like a freaking shrine of skulls and bones. You see it in the trailer. You've seen it, I think. But it's like the pyramid it's like a pyramid of skulls. And what he's doing is he's just been burning bodies all these years, and stacking up skulls and bones. Anyhow, he diagnoses the mom. Turns out she has cancer. He kills the mom. She was gonna die anyway. This was a better death. So, because she was starting to lose her mind and shit, and typical spread everywhere cancer. So they what is that? Assisted suicide, I guess.
Yeah.
And of course, the doctor had to sedate the kid because he was losing his shit because it's his mom. Anyhow, so now it's the doctor, the kid's left with the baby. Then I'm trying to think. I think the doctor might have lived. They were attacked by the alpha again. They were hiding, but they were able to sedate him. But I think the doctor's alive. But anyhow, kid goes back, drops off the baby at the village, and the baby's not infected. Even though it came out of a zombie, it seemed like a normal baby. And now his whole thing is the kid's, wanted to go travel out on his own now. So he's traveling around, and this whole time, so I mentioned at the beginning there was a scene of this blonde-haired kid with a cross, right? And I knew it wasn't, but it made you think kind of the dad might have been the kid. That had the from the beginning intro scene, but I was like, the dude's not blonde. There's no way it's the kid. So at this end scene, the main character boy was running from some zombies down a road, and he comes to a blockade. Then all of a sudden, these English gangster dudes walk over this edge, and they're like, "Oi, you want us to fight those or something, or you want help or something?" It was so out of the blue, and they're using hockey sticks, pipes, and shit. Like they just look like gangsters, and they go beat up the zombies. And what the main guy that was like the head of that like group had the cross upside down. Like, so that was the kid. It was just it was like the most random thing ever. Like I don't know. All of that to say, like the movie was interesting. It didn't seem like there were like from that. Does it sound like it's a great story? There wasn't much story to it, in my opinion.
No.
Yeah, so I would say movie overall 7 out of 10, mainly because the cinematography carried hard. Like that, it kind of felt like it was more of an artsy movie than it was like a good old like horror story with like, or a horror movie with like a good story.
Don't let him lie to you. Lie to you, viewers. He was just because of the big dick and tits. That was
There's
like 4
more
points
dick
right
than
there.
tits. I swear to God. I'm starting to, I need to look up who the director was. They got some problems. This whole movie was just an excuse.
Bobby boy.
Oh, but yeah, the more I think about it, the more I kind of want to knock the movie down to like a 6.5, but I'm gonna keep it at a 7 because visually it was beautiful, but the story just felt interesting. Whereas like the first couple were like, you know, they're focused on a survivors, just, you know, a certain select group of survivors. And this one just kind of felt like you're kind of following this kid, but it's also just trying to show off the world more than anything. It was interesting. Like the end scene was just weird with that gangster dude. Like, hold up, let me see if I can find the end scene, show you a picture of this dude. Because before it's all like, you know, normal survival gear stuff, you know, bows and arrows, and then these pimps just show up out of nowhere. 8 years later, and let me. Oh, come on. Yes, that's him, but I want like a. Oh, come on. It was just I. Oh. Come on. Is it the credit scene? That's not the credit scene. That was like the middle of the movie. All right. I might have to wait a little bit more to get more pictures of this. But it was just weird. I don't know. I think the first one is probably my favorite. And this one's my least favorite. But like as far as like quality, like as far as like visuals, it's the best one. I think it did okay as far as atmosphere and stuff, but it was just interesting. I don't know. Go watch. Like I would say it's worth at least watching. Like I'm not upset I went and watched it.
That's good.
Yeah. You got anything?
Yeah. You want me to talk about it?
Go for it. Dude, hold on. I type in 28 years later, and I was gonna look up the big zombie, and the first thing that pops up is big wiener in the search bar.
Joe's been looking it up. That's a Joe's autofill right there.
I just wanted to pull up the fucking alpha. I love how that's just the first thing that pops up, those big wiener. And then if you type in 28 years later alpha, the first thing that pops up is 28 years later alpha zombie hung.
This is just Joe's search history.
It must be. But that's just hilarious. Why the fuck do they do that?
So last weekend, I guess last weekend, yeah. The Borderlands fan thing was going on, fan event. So like 1,000 people got to play Borderlands for a half hour, and some streamers got to play it for like 3 hours. Borderlands 4, like the most recent build.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more information that came out about Borderlands 4. Along with, there was a bunch of videos last week from streamers that got to play it a few months ago. Moxie got revealed in this trailer.
Hell yeah.
Then one of the vault monsters, they confirmed there is going to be many vaults in this game. So one of the vault monsters got revealed, which is called Inceptus, and he looks cool as shit. Like, he has like this long, like, scorpion-like tail, and he like climbs on the ceiling, and he like tries to stab you and swipe at you with the tail, and then he launches like corrosive shit at you. And then with one of the new mechanics, grapple, the Inceptus will like go up under the ceiling and turn into like a big egg, which is kind of like his invincibility phase, but he's not invincible during it. You just got to take the egg down as fast as you can, because the floor turns into this corrosive goo, and you got to use the grapple to grapple onto these like vines that fall down from the ceiling, and you got to grapple and like try to stay on the vines and shoot the egg at the same time. Looked like a really cool fight. And that's just one of many. They didn't tell us the names of these other two, what I assume are vault monsters that are in the chat, Joe. Like, there's that big ass dragon, then what looks like a ice version of Inceptus, maybe, or a more robotic version of Inceptus. I don't know if you see them or not.
Yeah.
You see them?
Yeah.
Then we got some more information about the Vault Hunters. Not very much, but a little bit more, because they were able to play Vex and Rafa. One of Rafa's abilities lets him stay in the like the blade mode as long as he has something. I forget what it was. Maybe as long as he has shield, he's able to stay in the, like, it uses ultimate like forever, basically. Then the Gravatar was not played at all. No one was able to play the Gravatar or Amon, but class mods were found for Amon, Rafa, and Vex. None seem to have been found for the Gravatar, but Amon's ability seems to be able to change weapons. So, like, in one of the pictures, he's using a giant hammer. Another one, he's using his two axes that he starts with. And then there's also a sword that's been mentioned, and a whip and a shield. So it seems like he's more of like a tank or warrior type character. And then a lot of people were playing with Vex, and she has the specters that people were using a lot of, which are able to, like, when you spawn a specter, whatever type of gun you're holding, the specter becomes that type. So if you're holding a fire weapon, that specter's fire, and then if you switch, the next specter you summon is that next type, and you could have 3 different specters out of different elements, and you get bonuses based on their elemental damage and skill tree, which sounds pretty cool. And Rafa is just a cool sword guy. He's fucking cool. Like, just swinging his swords around, he's pretty cool. The map is fairly large. I think people were saying, from guessing, it was like 33 square miles, which is larger than the GTA 5 map.
Nice.
Yeah. So a very large map. From the gameplay I've seen, there is a lot of shit. I mean, I know some people were saying that the open world seemed a little empty, but it looked like there was a lot of stuff to just explore. Like, it looked like there was a lot of caves and dungeons and different, like, nooks and towns and shit. Like, if you look on that map, you can see, like, there's a bunch of, like, small little settlements all over the place on that map.
Yeah.
Like, there is a lot of stuff on that map that looks like to do. Marcus may not be returning, is my guess, because the new ammo, or the new weapon machine is called Zane ammo, or Zane munitions vending. So Marcus is not the vending machine guy anymore for some reason. Then Dr. Zed returns for his health machine, and then there's just a regular ammo machine, like there's pretty much always been. Um, then there is world events. There's 4 world events that have been revealed. There was a Coliseum, an airship. Oh, I can't remember the other 2, but there was 4 total events, like world events that were kind of shown off. Could be more in the future, but that's just what I seen from different people playing them. And then there's like other events too. Like there's the towers, and then there's like little settlements you can take control of. There's vault fragments you can find, and then take those vault fragments to a vault. And then the vault symbols return, but in a different way, kind of. You take the vault symbols, and then you can use the vault symbols to, however many you find, you can unlock. That's how you upgrade your SDUs for your your weapon ammo in your backpack. Is the vault symbols. What else? I think that's about it for that. I don't know. It looked cool. I'd recommend watching some gameplay video. I had our friend Garrett watch some, and then it changed his mind, and he wants to pre-order the game now because it does look good. From what they shown, like they played 1 story mission, and then they were playing some side missions, and then the vault. The 1 story mission they played, it was a lot more serious tone, like Borderlands 1, which the devs said they were trying to go back to, which is a more serious tone instead of Borderlands 3, which was non-serious the whole time. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about a serious tone Borderlands game again.
I like that style of stuff. I mean, I don't mind a joke game every once in a while, but like
2 was fine.
2 is fine. I love 2.
2 had like the perfect amount.
Yeah.
1 was pretty serious tone the whole time, the whole way through. And 3, there was not a serious moment in 3.
No. And I don't mind with 4, like, if you want to do funny stuff, put it in a DLC.
Or the side missions.
Or a side mission, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to have like little like lighthearted stuff throughout a game.
Yeah.
A lot of games end up doing that. It's like even a serious game will put in like a funny little side mission, just a little buffer.
That's kind of how the first one was. What it had, the side missions were funny while the main story was serious. 2 was mostly serious story, but like Handsome Jack, he was kind of his own. Handsome Jack was the funny one.
Yeah, there's a lot of comedic relief in the main story too.
I wouldn't really call him funny. He was just, it's funny to us, like now, like in the like it's just funny now. But I don't know. I'm pretty excited for it. They did show off that the characters are now in the cutscenes, which is pretty cool. Oh, major thing, combat radar. On Saturday, they showed off a combat radar. So there's no mini-map. So, and they have the compass, but now they put in a combat radar so you can see enemies that are around you. You don't see any of the map, you just see the enemies on the radar to help out.
Okay, gotcha.
With that. Which, that's pretty nice, Playing Borderlands 1 right now, I don't see the need for a mini-map, because we're doing like we've been using the compass the whole time through Borderlands 1, at least me and Garrett have. So like I'm used to it now, like without a compass. Pretty nice. It doesn't really bother me too much, but combat radar, that's pretty nice. Being able to see where the enemies are. That'd be a pretty cool feature. Did you know I wasn't playing without a minimap, Joe?
Yeah, no, you mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah. I don't know, it's different. Not bad. It reminds me of the first time I was playing it.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Borderlands 4, September 12th. There is 4 editions technically. They have base game, deluxe, super deluxe, and then a collector's edition. But the collector's edition does not include the game. The collector's edition is only for items, like for stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I still think I know we talked last week about it, I think. I still don't think the price is bad, especially with the amount of stuff that they're releasing with it.
I think I'm just going to go with deluxe though. From
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting the collectors.
Oh, I'm not. I got the collectors because I wanted the statue and stuff.
You got
They
it, or
come.
you're getting it?
I bought the collectors and then I bought the
Oh, is
super
it already
deluxe.
out?
Yes.
Oh, where?
I bought my collectors through GameStop and it's just going to deliver. And then I also bought my super deluxe through GameStop for PlayStation. Then you can pre-order if you just want it on Steam. You can get it on Steam too.
Super deluxe edition. It's 130.
Yes, that does not come with any items. That just comes with the DLCs.
What do you mean, any items?
The collectors, like I bought, doesn't come with the game. It comes with just items. It comes with a statue, a
Oh,
map.
the collector is literally just like collectibles. It's not a game or anything.
Collectibles. Yeah.
Okay,
So I don't see a problem with that. Like it's pretty
That's
obvious
fine.
that
that's just a box
it's-
of goodies.
yeah.
Okay, so I need to buy the Borderlands for Super Deluxe Edition.
The super deluxe comes with all the DLCs, which I
Okay.
think it's like $20 cheaper. You know, if you were to buy that, you know,
But,
because
yeah. Do I
because
get
the
it for
DLCs
PS5?
I don't know. I bought it for PS5, but I don't know yet.
I'm fuck. I'm gonna wait off a little more. I need to do some more thinking because I really would
Yeah.
prefer to play it with keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. I mean, you do you. I don't know what Garrett hasn't bought it yet either. I think it's in his Steam cart. It is cross-play at launch. So,
Okay, good. I think I might do PC. As long as I think my computer could handle recording at high quality with that game. We'll find out, but
yeah.
I think I should be okay.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
really don't want to, because I mean, I'm planning on having a PS5 by that time, or PS5 Pro, but like I said, the keyboard and mouse is my biggest factor with this.
Yeah.
I have not
Which
been
it
a
don't
fan of
bother me
playing
too
Borderlands
much.
1.
Oh, the Moxie machine's pretty cool. I think we've talked
This is a
about that.
Moxie machine.
Yes, so like outside the vaults and other bosses, instead of having to save quit to farm the bosses, you can just with a group. You don't have to be offline. You could be in your group of 4 and just restart the boss fight over and over again.
Oh, yeah, I remember you
Instead
telling me
of
that you
save
could
quitting.
do that, but you didn't tell me it was a Moxie machine.
It's called Moxie's Big Encore Machine.
Gotcha. Maybe you'd have
Yeah.
and I wasn't paying attention. But
I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I think it's outside of like boss fights.
gotcha.
They turned legendary drop rate up, so there was a lot of legendaries revealed during the fan fest, but
Oh, okay.
it
yeah.
wasn't really drop rates from enemies. It was golden chest drop. Like a lot of people were opening the golden chest. The devs that were behind them were giving them codes for golden keys to open the chest. Because I thought they were just finding them in like drops, which some were. There was a few that dropped, but they upped the golden chest rate basically.
Which makes sense. They want to show off.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of cool ones. The Hellwalker's making a return, which I know Garrett liked that gun.
I
That's the one that
enjoyed
plays-
that gun.
Yeah, it's a good gun, so that's making a return. There's a few others that they found that are making a return. I don't know. I'm pretty excited for it. There's a bunch of cool shit. Like, I know I probably shouldn't be decided, but watching the gameplay, like watching people actually play the game, you know, on
Yeah.
not high-end computers. They were playing on mostly 3080s, by the way.
Okay.
They're playing on 3080s and ultra settings, so they're able to
So
play.
I
at, like,
should be
ultra,
A-okay.
but they were lagging
Oh,
a little
1080p
bit. Like,
though?
yeah,
Okay. Okay. So that'll make a
Yeah.
difference. I'll play in
But
4K.
yeah. So they were like dropping frames at some points with the 3080s, but at ultra settings, 3080 was doing fine. So I have a 5080.
Yeah. You're 2 generations ahead. You'll be a lot.
Yeah, I'll be
better.
fine. And they
I
were
mean-
saying that
Go ahead.
a 2070 Super would be fine too, because of the frame gen or something.
2070 Super. That's what I had.
Yeah, they were saying that would be fine to play it because it has the frame gen. Not at ultra, not at the ultra settings.
No.
But they said that would work to play it.
And honestly, if I'm playing on this computer, I'm probably gonna turn a couple things down because they're not necessary.
Oh, I'm gonna turn it down to high. I'm not gonna play it at ultra.
I'll leave a
That's
couple things at ultra probably, but like I'm assuming there's gonna be like water effects or something
water because
stupid.
there's swimming. They brought swimming into the
Yeah,
game.
that
First
stuff
Borderlands was swimming.
I'll turn that stuff down because that stuff is stupidly like intensive on the computer.
They already turned down from like the first trailer and to now. They turned down a lot of the visual effects, I guess, of guns
Yeah,
because a
that's
lot of
another
people
thing I turned
complaining about
down.
visual pollution. They have turned that down quite a bit from the
Okay, so
gameplay I've
that's something
seen.
I turned down anyway.
Yeah, so they turned that down quite a bit. Um, but yeah, there's 3 more events. Like next month is one, and then there's one at the end of August and the first part of September. So there's 3 more events that they're going to show off some stuff, and within the next 2 months, they're also going to start like releasing character introduction trailers, like they did with 3. Um,
Okay, yeah.
like a 5-minute trailer or something with the
Yeah, I
character.
remember you showing me those.
Yeah. So pretty exciting stuff going on with Borderlands 4. I'm pretty happy about it still. Um, I know some people are not as happy, but I am. I think it's going to be a fun game. It looked like, from what people were saying, you might be able to have different story missions active at the same time. So, like, you might have an objective, like you're like a linear story, but you might be able to do some of the missions at different times before that, like, main event. So, like, if you have objective 1, 2, and 3, you can do any of them in any order, basically, before you get to that first main part of the story. And then you can have a few more story missions you can do in any order before the third part of the story, Not
Yeah.
as linear of a game. You don't have to do, like in Borderlands 1, it's all linear. Borderlands 2, it's all linear. There's not, you can't do one story mission before another. You might be able to do, that's not confirmed, but that's what people were saying that looked like.
Huh.
And then the trees are giant as well. The skill trees.
Okay, yeah.
I don't really know how many are on each character yet. I haven't seen, but you know how the skill tree works. There's like different different perks, and then you can put like 5 skills into a perk for some of them, right?
Yeah.
I did some basic guesstimation work by looking at Vex's skill trees, and I'm guessing there's about 85 perks per character. Or sorry,
Dang.
85 perks per character, and that's before skill points. So times that by like 3, or times it by 4 on average, I guess, or 3.5 for how many skill points you need to fully max out the tree. So I don't know what the max level is going to be or how many skill points you're going to get.
There
But
might be
there's going to
different
be,
ways of getting skill points.
yeah. So the skills are like twice as big as Borderlands 3.
Huh.
So they're fucking
I bet you
giant.
one thing, you'll probably get skill points for leveling and completing missions.
For some missions, yeah. There's probably side missions
Like
you
main
can do.
story missions, I would assume
Oh,
you get a
maybe.
skill point.
Yeah. I mean, I want, if the game is good, I'd like to do some fun challenge runs of the game.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, Vex can have 3 Spectres out. I think it would be cool to have a party of 4 Vexes all running the Spectre. Like having
Yeah.
4 Spectres out, or I guess it'd be 3 Spectres out per character, so it'd be 16 things. Like you'd be 16 fucking crazy shit. And then I was saying you could get the guns with legs. You just shoot and reload, and they can do all the battling too.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just one of my ideas I had. I thought it'd be cool. And then you brought up the whips, because if Amon can do like 2 whips, you could have like Amon just like we could all just be whipping everything the whole time.
I like funny runs like that. That's kind of like Call of Duty when you weren't there for that, but it was College Now. We'd play like Warzone, but we got bored of it because it was too easy. So we did like knife only runs. And it was so funny
Yeah.
just to gang up on people and just be sitting there knifing stuff. It'd be like the same
Yeah.
thing, but with the whips.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could come up with some good runs. Like, I think it'd be fun to do some of those type of runs, honestly. If everyone likes the game, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can see myself liking the game. It looks like it's going to be a lot longer story-wise as well, like closer to 30 or 40 hours of story instead of like the 10 to 20 than the last ones have been. Um,
Yeah.
so a lot more playtime as well, that means. So, I don't know. I've been watching the Borderlands Reddit and see what people talk about there. Some people are happy, some people are upset, just like every game release. It does seem to be quite more positive after this weekend, because they got to see a lot of gameplay. You know, they got to see
Well,
3
yeah,
hours
that's
of
always the worry if you don't get
Yeah,
to
they
see
got to
gameplay.
yeah, they got to watch 1,000 people play the game. A lot of them were only able to play a half hour that went, but the rest of them, all the streamers that got to play 3 hours and stream the game. They were live streaming on Twitch for 3 hours, and they all kind of did different stuff. So they got to see a lot of the game, a lot of early game. They only did one main mission. Some of them did a few side missions that were just right around the starting area. And they were able to create a level 20 character that was it was already pre-made between Vex and Rafa. And they're able to do the first vault. Oh, I don't know if it's the first vault, but they were able to do that one vault with the Inceptus.
Okay.
Which was a pretty cool vault. Like, it started out like like you had to kill a bunch of people, and once you killed all of them, then you finally got, like, it was like a horde thing. Like, you just had to kill all of these guys that were trying to get you, and then you got to go fight Inceptus after that.
Okay.
It was a pretty cool fucking boss fight. I'm gonna find you you need to watch a video on that fucking boss fight. Like, it is crazy, like, the shit that was going on. Like, it looked hard. They did say this is the hardest Borderlands. Everyone that I've seen has said this is the hardest Borderlands.
Good. It was way too easy.
A lot of people were just dying from, like, basic enemies.
Good. Hopefully they actually made the bosses a challenge.
This looks, it looked pretty...
Because like, Borderlands 3, we'd walk into the boss room and be out in 5 seconds. Like,
yeah.
it was just a cake, like, ugh.
Yeah, you also have to grapple onto the boss to pull off his armor to reveal his crit spots.
See, that's another thing I feel like some of the Borderlands games were missing, were like some gimmicks to the bosses.
Yeah, so if you want to watch that, it's only 6 minutes. You could skip around in it I skipped to like 45 seconds.
Rich, we are back with another Borderlands.
Starts. I don't know. He looks pretty fucking cool. He doesn't really have an immune phase. That egg is what I was talking about. And even like they did fight the first boss of the game through that story mission. I don't know if it's the first boss, but I think his name is Horus. And he had an immune phase during the boss fight, but he went into immune phase because story reasons. He went into like a monologue for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Like for 20 seconds, he went into a monologue. So obviously you shouldn't kill him while he's fucking talking. And he wasn't attacking, it was just him monologuing for a few seconds,
Yeah.
And then on later runs, people because after they killed him, people were finding him as a world boss, like an event boss out in the world, like a world event. So, and during that, he did not have an immune phase. So, I think that's pretty good. And people said they did the Moxie machine, and he didn't have an immune phase for the other times they replayed it. So, I think that's good. Immune phases during story, I don't see as bad, No. Like, if you're gonna farm, the immune phases are definitely not good. Like, every boss in Borderlands 3 had an immune phase of some kind. Are you watching that boss fight, Joe?
Yeah, I already skipped through it.
It's pretty cool, though, ain't it? Did you see him in the big egg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Visually,
I
the game's great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's just that boss fight's, like, cool as fuck. Like, they've never really had a boss fight like that. You know, I mean, like the one was kind of like that. The end boss that we fought in Borderlands 3, that raid boss, that was kind of like this boss, but this is just a boss in base game. You know, it's not a raid boss.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I can talk about ordinances too. They took out grenades and rockets basically, and you can still get them, but they're on a recharge basically. They're on a cooldown, so you have infinite ammo for them. They're just on a cooldown, and so that means you can't use rockets while you're down to get out of fight for your life, which kind of sucks. But they also introduced, like, there's a UAV grenade. There's like a trap grenade that people were throwing on the ground in front of enemies that were gravity holding them in place. Throwing knives and kunai, regular grenades, rocket launchers, machine guns, and there's a few other shits too. But those are all like ordinances that you can use. And people were loving the throwing knives and kunai, because if some of them have like the perk where if you get a headshot, it instantly recharges it. So you could do
That's
like,
nice.
yeah, pretty cool shit, I think. So, and then there's rev kits as well. So, rev kits give you a boost and also apply healing. So each rev kit's different. It's just like another perk, basically, another item to slot into your character. But they give you healing and other buffs as well. They could give you like a damage up buff or a reload buff or a fire rate buff along with healing you. People were saying that the rev kits were very much needed for the difficulty of some of the bosses. Yeah. But yeah, that's probably all I'm going to talk about for Borderlands.
Cool stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's 5 games coming out at that time that I'm wanting to play. So
yeah,
my time's
that's
gonna
unfortunate.
My time's gonna be really busy with the games I want to play and stream.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad this game's coming out a little early so we can get a lot of gameplay out of the way. You know,
yeah,
so we
that'll
can
be
play
nice.
that whole week. If Bomba's down to play that whole week.
Hopefully.
But yeah.
Or else Bomba might be out of luck.
Yeah, it might just be me, you, and Carrot.
But yeah, I think that's all I have, so.
Yeah. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Yeah, see ya.